Big thanks to the legends at Classic Builders for jumping on board with Not For Radio. Their thing's simple, making building a home feeling more durable and less terrifying. Get amongst them, give them a goog if you're in New Zealand and you want to use their services.
G'day Snipers, this is from Australia, and you're listening to Not For Radio with Jay and Dunc. In the famous words of Gandhi, take it easy, and if it's easy, take it home.
Bloody good, Gandhi. From one Gandhi to another.
Yes. Get a warm flannel ready is all I'm going to say. Today we are sitting down with absolute New Zealand rock royalty. If you look at the landscape of Kiwi music over the last 3 decades, there is one name that sits at the foundation of it all. John Toogood. From Shehead's early days in Wellington to selling out stadiums and pushing the boundaries of what a Kiwi band could sound like, he's done it all. He's a guy who's earned the respect of the biggest players in the game. He is your favourite musician's favourite musician. We're talking about a guy whose work is so consistent, so respected, that even the legends like Dave Grohl count him as a peer, not just a fan. When you've got the front man of the Foo Fighters looking at your career as a blueprint for how to keep a band together and stay relevant for 30 years, you know you're doing something right. With his highly anticipated memoir, Home Again, My Life and Times in a Band Called Shehead, out now, we're digging into the stories like you haven't heard them before. Me oh my, yes boy. Johnny, welcome to the pod. How are?
I'm good, thanks guys. Really good.
What a fucking treat it is to have you on. I've been smashing through your book. It is, it's amazing. It's outrageously good.
Awesome.
Like, you're a red-hot author. I want part 2, but you got to do some more shit.
Yeah. I've left it right at the end, eh? So, yeah, I better. And the next one will all be about, like, what I'm making for my kids' lunches and stuff at school.
Does this kind of feel like, does this almost feel like a full stop?
Nah, not at all. Not at all, man.
Is this just a passage in time captured?
It's just captured. Yeah, it's like 55. Have a look back and go, oh, whoa, that happened. Oh, that happened. And
you're such a Benjamin Button-looking motherfucker, eh? You just look young. I mean, obviously, when you first started playing in the band, you were 10, and then you look like you're 5, so it makes sense, in terms of how you're aging out.
Man, I had kids late in life, and you've just got to try and stay healthy, So I look after myself nowadays.
So for the interview, I don't want to cover off like too much because I want people to buy the book, and it's a fantastic book. So I'm going to pluck some stuff out of like the first half,
cool,
and then we might reference all the stuff that went on with Shehead towards the end, but not give too much away because there's I want to leave a lot of meat on the bone for this one. But I guess a good place to start would be the beginning, right? And the first thing that pricked my interest, and I think because I was real interested going into this book because I've known you for a long time and, we've done a lot of research on yourself and the band Shehead from all the years working at the Rock. I was like, I wonder how much I'm going to learn or find out about Johnny. And I think I had heard this in the past, but the fact that you were fucking red hot at cricket just before you got into music.
Yeah, I mean, that was like I was looking at a career in music. Career in cricket, yes, before I joined the band. I was into cricket, man. I love cricket. I still love cricket.
Like you played for Wellington.
I was a captain of the Wellington team, schoolboys team, for about 3 years there. Mark Ellis was a number 3 batsman. Danny Haimona, who went on to be damn native, was my opening bowler. He used to be my mate at school. We used to play against Chris Cairns. He was the captain of the Canterbury boys team. Never got me out, but I didn't really score many runs off him.
That is a great claim to fame.
He was that guy. While we were all like 14. He was the guy with. He shaved, It was like, that guy's not 14. There's no way.
He comes on after the game. Hey, Dad, can I have a pack of chips? Hang on a minute.
He was huge, but no, he never got me out. But I was, it was pretty scary facing him.
Was it, like, how quick was that phase out? Like, did you just go, I'm into playing my cricket bat like a guitar, to now playing a guitar, to now not touching my cricket bat?
Yeah, okay. So basically, like, from the age of 2, I loved music, right? So music never went away. It's just that I really loved cricket as well. And then they made me the captain, and then I stopped enjoying the game. So that's really weird, but that's what happened. Yeah, they made me captain, and I started to think about the game too much, and I went from being a really attacking batsman to quite a defensive batsman. And then I just met Tom, the drummer of Shehead, at the same time when I was getting bored. And he went, I hear you play guitar. Here's AC/DC's Highway to Hell. Learn that. And we'll start a band. And my dad was so disappointed when I said I'm quitting cricket.
Because they committed quite a lot of time
Absolutely,
into taking you all over the country to play.
Yeah, man. I mean, I cover it in the book, like I went out to Greytown and went to the Dunc and Fernley, cricket bat place and met John Morrison and, I mean, I was definitely amping to be a cricket player,
Do you still pick up the willow? Would you go any good if they called you up for the Black Clash, which is the kind of the semi-celebrity footy players, every man and his dog? Do you reckon you could get out there in the middle and put a few over the fence?
I sort of met a bunch of Kiwis when I was living in Melbourne because they didn't play the Warriors on normal TV, so you'd have to find the bar, right? And I'm a massive Warriors fan, so I met a whole bunch of Kiwis living in Melbourne, and they found out that I played cricket. So we went down to the nets one day, and this is when I was maybe 40, maybe 42. And I was loving it, man, bowling real fast. And then I gave myself a groin strain. And was on a couch for 2 weeks. And I had a gig coming up, and it was like, I can't afford to do this anymore.
Fair.
Isn't it weird when you go... You can throw a ball as hard as you can when you're a kid, and at teenage sort of level, it never really goes away. And then you have a layoff, and then you go and rip one at the nets, and it feels like your whole arm is still attached to the ball like a foxtail and gone.
I tell you what, but bowling as well. The actual thing of bowling it's a weird thing for body to do.
You watch the big tall bowlers, and their whole being goes into that to generate the force to get the ball to go 150 or 60.
Even as a young dude, I'd have low back issues, because I was sort of tall and skinny. And so, I'd sort of bowl fast, medium pace swingers and I'd always have low back issues,
If you were to break it down into the mechanics of cricket for a second,
yeah.
You sprint as fast as you can, then you plant a singular foot and throw your entire body weight over the top of it as fast as you can at a standstill.
All the joints on one leg.
And it feels great. Feels great when you're healthy, but man, if you hurt yourself, it hurts. Yeah.
So Tom semi-drags you away along with the captaincy issues from cricket and tells you to go and learn that song. I believe it was on a dubbed cassette tape.
Yeah.
And then he also lumps on you that you need to sing, otherwise there's no band. So he's like, oh, fuck, well, I haven't done this before.
Yeah, and it was like, man, I never considered myself a singer. I didn't consider myself a singer for the first 25 years of She Hugs. It's true.
So crazy.
No, but it's true though because
Anthony Kiedis was the same from the Chili Peppers.
Man, it's just like it was just a part of the job that I had to do because no one else was going to do it. But sooner or later you go, oh, actually, right. If I bring the note down and I'm actually in tune now. Oh, yeah, that actually feels good. And then you pair that with a few lyrics which actually mean something to you, and then that's the best part of the job is actually singing. But it took me forever, I didn't. Man, I would always sing sharp because we were so loud, man. So I'd be screaming to try and get over the top of Tom's China and my guitar that I just pushed the note sharp all the time. But it didn't matter in a sort of thrash metal context, as long as the beat was pumping and people could mosh to it and stage dive, we were doing our job. But it was later on when we started writing, what's writing a song like, around the time of Fish album.
Yes.
It's like, oh shit, I can't sing in tune at all. So I got to learn,
Did you get lessons?
I got lessons really early on, and all that did was teach me about, you got to sing from the diaphragm. So, that part just above your gut,
Yeah.
And so it taught me about how to breathe, but it didn't teach me how to sing in tune.
If you were saying that the job of singing fell into your lap and you kind of had to do it. If you could just be on guitar and have anybody sing, you could pick anybody past, present, to take the vocal role of what you've done in She Had. Who would that be? Who would be a dream setup for you that you go?
Man. Nah, gives that, Mike.
Yeah. There he is. But it wouldn't be. I don't reckon it'd be She Had.
Yeah.
It wouldn't.
No, bro. No, you know what? I still was the class clown at school, so there was definitely something attractive about being a front person, because I was still the master of ceremonies. So I sort of reveled in that role straight away, like being able to go jump now and move now, So that sort of pulled me through the not being able to sing very good. But, I was still it was still the look at me position in the band, which worked for me because I was the guy that, spent most of my school time just trying to find ways to crack people up.
And in terms of the vocal performances on any of the albums, at what point did you nailed it in Fish? In my opinion, you nailed it from the get-go. Was there one album that you're like, that's the motherfucker? That's the one that everything that came out of my mouth was money.
Yeah, I reckon around General Electric, and it's like it's because I'm working with a producer that produced Rage Against the Machine's first album, so I didn't want to look like a plonker in front of him. So that makes you do your best, like because you want to be the best, So, and he also did a thing which was he was the first producer that went, oh man, you shouldn't be singing into those expensive Neumann mics because you got a real bassy voice, and so he put a whole row of different mics, and the one that worked with my voice was a Shure SM7, which is usually a podcast mic,
Yeah.
It just works really good with my voice. So I learnt about that as well, working with him, which was choice. But having the right mic makes you sing better as well, But also having the right material. Like we wrote those songs over about a 2-year period, and we'd done, in our career, we'd probably done the 10,000 hour thing around that time.
Yeah.
So we'd started to learn what worked, like finally. So, even though, I like Killjoy and I like Churn, but that was sort of like, we just like, it was sort of lucky in a way, like we're just following instinct. But General Electric's like instinct plus the craft of putting a song together that's going to work, it's different.
We listened to that album the whole way back from duck shooting last time, eh?
Awesome.
And that was it's a proper nostalgic trip.
Yeah.
And it's sort of in a day, in an age where albums aren't listened to in their entirety to the same level. I mean, we punch in and out of songs and artists all day long, but I just love to sit and wallow in an album, the way that it was put together by the artists, and hear it from start to finish.
Do you know what was even more buzzy? So recently got a treadmill at home, trying to get back into moving.
got it at your age, bro.
This is every conversation that pops up. Did I tell you about my treadmill? I'm a bit of a fat bastard.
So I was listening to the albums in my earpods as you were like in the same part of the book.
It works though, eh?
It does.
I did that.
Yeah, and I'd never done that before for any book or a memoir that I'd listened to. And I was like, so I 100% do that. You just touched on the, learning so much about the different gear. You don't have much of a choice at the start when you would get a band together, right?
Yeah.
You got you guys nicked the PA from your school.
Yep.
And then took it to probably the most fucking unorthodox place to play the style of music that you guys were going to play.
A church, yeah. a church. And it was our first gig, and we practiced hard, man, 2 weeks, like just getting tight. And then we opened our set opener was Megadeth's version of the Sex Pistols song, Anarchy in the UK. And so when I sung the first line, which is I am an Antichrist, the PA blew up. And that was the end of the gig. So the gig lasted like literally, about 20 seconds.
Is that divine intervention? Do you go, oh, jeez, I'm going to kick the
You're
beehive here?
Straight up.
Bro, and the crazy,
the hand of God.
Man, the crazy thing is, pan to 38 years later, and we play that last show at Meow Nui in Wellington, and then I'm staying at an apartment. I wake up the next day, I look out the window, and there's that church.
Oh,
it was out of it. Yeah, so I ended up where I'd started. It
That's
was so
crazy.
bizarre.
That's a
Yeah,
trip.
bizarre. I hadn't planned that. It just happened. Yeah.
Speaking of, you want to tell Jay about
Wicked trips.
well, I don't think you'd call it work. It's probably actually one of the best things that ever happened to you, right? In hindsight, even though you had a tough time after it,
Yeah,
because
man.
it steered you away from it.
It did. So I was real young. I suppose 18. Yeah, and our manager at the time, Gerald Dwyer, who was he was applying me with like books just to get my lyrics a bit more interesting, like he was giving me, Nietzsche and all this existential stuff and big ideas, and it was really cool. But he thought maybe it might be a good idea to try acid. So I tried acid, and it was too much for me, bro. Like I had one of those, semi-religious sort of experiences where I saw myself and the size of the universe compared to it, and it destroyed and atomized my ego. And it took me about 6 months to actually start feeling normal again. I was very unhappy, boy, for about 6 months. I didn't dream for ages. And then when I did dream, it would be all about death. And I went from being this real happy-go-lucky dude to just really thinking about those big things. It was all a little bit too much at one time, I can appreciate, now that I'm older, the mind-expanding sort of thing that it did. But at the time it was just a little bit too much information at once, you know.
Did you talk to anybody about what you were going through then? Because that was probably from a time when people didn't really do that.
My parents didn't quite understand, but they paid for me to go and learn transcendental meditation.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because I was...
That's slick.
Yeah, which was cool. But the only problem was, on the way to go, on the day that I was going to get my mantra, because you got to get your mantra, right? You get gifted your mantra from your teacher. On the day that I was going up to the meditation place, I was walking under a tree and a magpie came swooping down and took a big chunk out of the top of my head. And it was like, I arrived at this place with blood just streaming down my face, like something out of like a Slayer thing. And I was not ready to receive a mantra at that point. I spent about half an hour throwing rocks at this magpie. I was like so angry at it. But I did
what
end
is
up.
this thing called life? It's a fucking roller coaster.
It's so strange.
What are you going to say about next?
Did you find when you're doing that transcendental meditation that you would almost drop back into those acidic states?
A little bit,
Yeah.
but I did find it's a cumulative. You know, it's like the more you do it, the more relaxed you get, and the deeper you get. You know, and as soon as you miss a couple of days, you're back to square one. You've got to keep doing it. It's a practice. You know, 20 minutes in the morning, 20 minutes at night, and I found that it really did help me a lot with the anxiety, because it did bring on a lot of anxiety, like that I hadn't felt before. You know, I'd had a really sort of loving, pretty sheltered upbringing in Island Bay, Wellington, with a really loving family. I'm very fortunate to have had that. But at that point, it was like, I was pretty unhappy.
That's how close you can come to having one of those psychotic breaks where that's irreversible. Like I know guys that had a Datura session.
Oh,
that's bad shit. You don't hear many good things about that, do you?
No, it's always like someone ends up like smashing a mirror, then walking on the mirror, and then it's like there's no good stories about Datura.
No, well, that's the thing. So a couple of them basically popped in and out, and then this other bloke, he's still in there.
Yeah,
like 20-odd years later,
it's bad.
Just somebody at the plug-in desk is just gone on smoke and never come back.
Yeah, never come back. Yeah.
One of
It's
the
harsh. Yeah.
first, like, I reckon, reading the book, one of the first like pivotal moments for the band, and I didn't clock how young you guys are when this happened, but the whole AC/DC thing.
Yeah, man.
The fact that Carl was sitting in School C the day before the gig is mind-blowing. Like, that would never happen now, I don't think.
Man. No, probably wouldn't, man. Yeah, we were young, man. I mean, he was the young one of the band.
Yeah.
Mind you, he was only like 2 years younger than us, which at that time seems real big, you know, because we were like 18, 19, 20, you know.
Yeah.
So, but now, you know, 55 and he's 53, you know. But
doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Not as much. Yeah. But
you want to see what a 15? Because how old are your kids now?
11 and 8.
Yeah. So just imagine 4 years on your oldest, and that's
totally,
when you were
man.
playing.
Yeah, man.
Opening for AC.
Yeah. It was crazy. Well, especially considering, you know, it was Tom giving me a copy of AC/DC's Highway to Hell, which was my first metal record, because I've been brought up with an older brother and sister. My brother, he liked Led Zeppelin and Queen and sort of classic rock. And my sister liked punk, so it was like Stiff Little Fingers and Public Image Limited and Sex Pistols and stuff. So, and my sister said to me, if you ever get into metal, I'll disown you. I'll never talk to you again. So that instantly was like a red rag to a bull. It made me go, I've got to find out what metal is, you know? Like, because I didn't have it at home. And first few goes, like a bit of a disaster. I think Tom gave me a copy of Man of War's All Men Play on 10. It was terrible. Awful. They sort of dressed like Conan the Barbarian.
Yeah.
Real bad.
So good.
And so I thought maybe my sister was onto something. And then he played me Ride the Lightning and Highway to Hell. And those were the two albums that made me go, there's something to metal. You know, like there's something wicked about metal. Yeah.
As far as like getting to see what a band at the top of their game looks like firsthand and be that close to a machine like AC/DC, and they've been a machine the whole way through, right? They've been a huge sounding band.
Absolutely.
Was that hard to wrap your head around, or was that just straight or like awe-inspiring and a rocket up the backside?
Awe-inspiring and the perfect thing. Like, couldn't have written the story better, because it's basically like we, like a lot of young metal bands, thought the way to sound like the God of Thunder was just turn your distortion up to 10, right? So, because everyone sounds like the God of Thunder when they're going, but it also means that you don't really have to learn how to play that good, because it's really forgiving, you know, when your distortion's up that far, and it's actually really compressing the sound and making it a little bit small sounding. Then we see AC/DC. we did our sound check, and then Malcolm Young's guitar tech says, "Hey son, you want to hear a real guitar sound?" Which I thought, oh, that's a bit harsh. But then he got me to stand in front of Malcolm Young's stack of Marshalls and just played his white Gretsch Falcon, boom, and it was just like hearing the voice of God. Like it was the cleanest. It was really clean. It's like not distorted at all, but real loud. Like loud like a jet engine.
Two separate things.
Two totally different things. And then so we instantly made us rethink about the way we're playing our guitars, getting guitar tones. So we backed off the gain, turned the fucking main tube amp up, but the only problem with it is it really shows when you're playing like shit. And so it took us about 2 years to actually learn how to play our guitars right.
Wow.
But it meant that all of a sudden we had this dynamic, big sound, and it's like, but it means you have to play the riff right, like you can't just hash your way through it because there's no gain to hide behind. It's just volume. And it's glorious, and it sounds huge. But we wanted to find out what it was like to be inside a band that sounded that big, and that's what it took. Like
it's the coolest thing about it. I think from the outside looking in, and we get to catch up with talented people like yourselves, is you hear these stories and how they come about, and you're making music predominantly to play in a live setting, such as that one.
Mm-hmm.
But then you have to make it in a small room with your mates.
Yep.
And then you need to craft it up, sort of test it maybe on some bigger crowds. And then you go in and you record it to try and capture that sound.
Yep.
But that lightning in a bottle.
Yeah.
And that York Street as one of the venues that,
Yep.
you were probably one of the first, if not.
We were the first band to play in the York Street studios, and we even all helped load that Neve desk in, which is really heavy, with about 6 or 7 other people. But we put it into the control room and then recorded it, and recorded our first album there with Jazz Coleman from Killing Joke producing. And that is a crazy sounding record. It's interesting looking back. It's a real cold sounding record, but that's what's beautiful about it. But for us, after we finished it, was like, but it doesn't really have the bottom end of the American records that we were listening to. So when we went back to do Killjoy, we were really concentrated on bottom end, and we self-produced that record. But I don't think we ever. I mean, Killjoy sounds like it's on fire, but General Electric is where someone from that real rock world, Garth Richardson, the producer, introduced us into the world of making blockbuster, big sounding rock and roll records.
Yeah.
Because that guy, produced some big sounding rock records, and that process is completely different than how we did Killjoy Churn, which is basically tune at the front of the track, play the song really well, then layer it. Whereas this is like you punch in every chord separately, and you tune the guitar, because a guitar is a plank of wood, and it's never going to be exactly in tune at fret 12 if it's in tune at fret 1. So to make it work, you have to retune for every chord, and then have a real talented producer literally manually punching in that one chord that you've tuned.
He would have been splicing in reel to reel as well.
No, he's splicing, but he's actually just punching in, punching out. You know, it's incredible, like the amount of work that goes into it, and it was amazing, laborious, but that's why the General Electric sounds like it's jumping out of the speakers. Because it's so in tune that the speakers don't have to work as hard, it's efficient. It's all physics, it's all like when you're out of tune, the speakers are rubbing.
Yes.
They're not working efficiently, but when everything's bang in tune, it goes boom, all in one direction at the same time.
Sick.
Yeah.
I actually wrote some notes. I want to give people context, because not all of the people listening will know about the Neve recording console.
Sure.
Because there was 7 made, right?
Yep.
And they're a special bit of kit. This is a list of some of the albums that were recorded at the one that Sound City, where Dave Grohl did the documentary. So Nirvana, Nevermind, Fleetwood Mac, Rumours, Tom Petty, Damn the Torpedoes, Neil Young, After the Gold Rush, Rage Against the Machine's self-titled album, which is the best one, Metallica's Black Album, 9 Inch Nails' The Downward Spiral, The Black Crowes' Shake Your Money Maker, Guns N' Roses' Appetite for Destruction.
Yeah, man.
And that's on one of the desks, and you guys were lucky enough to record
On one of the others,
multiple times.
Yeah, totally. And it's and you know what? Before they found it sitting in a Christian place, somewhere not getting used. It had just ended up there. It was actually from Abbey Road, and it had ended up in Aotearoa, and someone had bought it, and then someone had bought it off them and ended up at this church.
And so when you like are using a desk like that, do you notice, like as a musician, you notice that straight away, like that sounds different, and it's like you can feel it. Like it particularly obviously works well for rock music.
Yeah, man, and also it's not just that; it's also the room. You know, the recording room in York Street was huge, so you can get that big drum sound that rock records tend to need. You know, like I know that sort of became out. It sort of went out of vogue for a while, and then you started getting, you know, great rock records like, you know, Queens of the Stone Age, you know, where they do the opposite approach, which is making the drums really dry and small. But that's cool too, you know. Like, but for us, it was about how do we make that huge sound, and it was like, well, just using room mics in a big room, and that's sort of what they did. In, you know, when we were recording the General Electric, we went to the same studio where Motley Crue did Dr. Feelgood, and the drum sound on that is huge.
Yeah.
So we wanted that.
Oh, that one. Do you have those now? York Street's now gone, and like a lot of incredible live venues that you played. And do you kind of, is there a little bit of sadness, or is there they were time capsules where great times were had? And
I mean, I just feel really fortunate to have come up in the time we came up. You know, with not only great recording spaces and great venues, but festivals like the Big Day Out. You know, like I mean, that's sort of where we cut our teeth and learned that we could actually compete on the international sort of level as well, because they were sticking local bands on the same stages with international bands. It's like, oh, then you could actually really see what you needed to improve on and work with, you know, because
Fuck, you guys dominated Big Day Out. That was like notoriously the hardest slot to follow was your mid-afternoon set at Mount Smart when the whole crowd's just going ape shit. And then pretty much every year the international band going after us and we're like, fuck that. What are we doing? Fuck these
well,
guys.
I mean, I think that's where Dave Grohl saw us, actually went, whoa, you know, and it was like, yeah, man, but that took years to get to that bit. You know, like there was a lot of crappy shows and a lot of bad out of tune shows and a lot of not knowing what to say to people in between songs and a lot of dead air in between songs. We used to record every show we played, man, and then like nerds. And in fact, there is a chapter called "Fucking Nerds," because we were fucking nerds about it, man. It was like, how do we get better? How do we get better? And it's like you watch every show and go, man, you're taking way too long to fucking tune up there, bro. Like, get into the next song here, you know? You should be over here. You should be doing this. Right, cool. That song doesn't work after that song. We swap that out. We change it here. So it's all learning all the time, you know? We're curious about it, you know?
You're lucky to get, you know, it's just the way it worked out, but paired with the other blokes that were wired the same.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because if you have someone that doesn't give a fuck about that and they just want to turn up and do the one rehearsal a week and then play, but the work ethic out of She Hard for like decades on end is relentless.
Yeah.
Like, not everyone can do that.
And I think that comes from a real good, I mean, very fortunate meeting each other, right? And you know, meeting, for me personally, like meeting Tom and not realizing what a great drummer he is. It's just, that was the first drummer I ever played with, you know, so I didn't realize, I thought all drummers were human metronomes, you know, that could play everything. And so I just took it for granted, you know, I was like, oh, that's what a drummer is, you know, like, cool. But also he, you know, he like me had a sort of real internationalist sort of viewpoint straight from early on, because I'm a first generation Kiwi. All my family's in England, right? So we'd go back to England, meet our family. So it was always had a different perspective on Aotearoa than maybe someone who'd been here for a few generations. You know, it was always about like taking on the world, you know. So, and Tom was the son of the New Zealand ambassador to Japan. So he grew up in Japan, you know. So I think he had a real sort of, it wasn't about being the best band in Wellington. It was about how do we become a great rock band, full stop, you know, without anything. Just like, can we compete with those bands that we love, you know? So we were the driving force behind it. I was probably more sort of head in the clouds, sort of arty, songwriting, you know, mood swings and all that. And he was the pragmatist who could interface with the real world, you know, and which is great. And I was very fortunate.
And loved the business side
and
too.
loved it, you know, and had a genuine passion for it. I had a passion for riffs and songs and you know making things dangerous, or which is good because it was a good yin and yang, you know. And then you have Phil, who's that sort of, he comes up with ideas that I would never come up with in a million years because he's coming from a real different place and really interesting and really cool.
I found it interesting in the book because it's something I didn't know about Phil. Quite often some of his greatest riffs would come when you guys would push him and he'd be like, oh, fuck you. Why don't you just play one like this then? And you're like, that's awesome.
Yeah, totally. Like the riff from Get Up, man. It's like, dude, oh, man, just play something, man. Oh, like this. And then it was like, whoa, yeah, exactly like that, bro.
More of that, bro.
Do more of that. I'll write something around that. Yeah. And I mean, I think the opening riff for Comfort Me is the same, putting him on the spot. I'm going, oh, what, like this? Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And through the Rock 2000, when we're going through, like, there's so many tracks that hit inside that top 50, top 100 when we're doing the countdown.
Yeah, right.
And we'll get a clip from the artist, and they're like, yeah, well, this thing was on the back of a napkin at a truck stop, and we knocked it together in one take. And have you got any that stick out for you?
Straight away. Not the whole song. Lyrics for Home Again.
Yeah, man. 20 minutes. 20 minutes, bro. But 20 minutes because they'd locked me in a room that was small, and I'm really claustrophobic, and I was like, man, you have to wind back because back for the first two albums, I got really lucky with words and songs. Like whatever just came out of me, that was it, and that was like, oh yeah, that's how I write a song. And then later on, it was like Fish album. It was like we're really experimenting with like I'd just seen Oasis and I was like, I want to write a pop song, So but I had this weird thing where it was like the first thing I wrote was the only thing I could ever write. So if I had a great bit of music to play on and then wrote some really shit lyrics, that was that music. I just throw it out.
The whole lot.
The whole thing just gone, and much to my the band's dismay. But I had this real purist dumb mentality of like, nah, that was what it came. It's gone. And then Home Again was a bit of music we wrote in LA while we were camped out doing some tour, and we all knew it was a good bit of music. We all thought. I remember, we recorded on a boombox. It was like blowing up on the cassette because it was so fucking loud. But we put it on the car stereo driving back to the hotel after this place, and we went, fuck, this is what Led Zeppelin must have felt like when they wrote fucking Immigrant Song, man. Like we were buzzing, we were, we were totally blowing our own trumpets, but like we were buzzing out on that bit of music, and that freaked me out because I was like, if I write some shit lyrics on this, that's going to be a waste of a really good bit of music. So I put it off for about a year. It went on forever. And
were the boys nagging you?
They were nagging me, and then finally they just locked me in the room upstairs at York Street and went, you have to finish this because it's the best bit of music we got. And I instantly went back to what it felt like being in LA and missing, home, and it all came out. And the first, I think I wrote, it's been a long, cold, lonely winter, and I've got the original lyrics. And then I was like, nah. Put your clock back for the winter. So I scribbled that out, and I've still got that bit of paper, and then it all came pretty much fully formed. 20 minutes.
That's mad. We tried to do a campaign on Transmission Gully when they opened it up heading into Wellington. We tried to turn, how they have them in Japan, those singing roads, so the rumble lines, which actually we tried to get them to put Home Again into the rumble lane. So when you're driving into Wellington, it plays Home Again.
They still
over your
should.
fucking car.
I mean, they can do that. They reseal those roads every fucking 6 months.
Yeah, totally.
That I reckon would be
We found a guy that reckoned he'd be able to do it.
Yeah, we found a dude. He said there's so, as you can imagine, such a shitfest to get it done. But that's like in Japan. People head to that part of Japan because they've got singing roads.
Wow, that's so cool. I didn't. This is the first time I've ever heard of it.
Oh, never one up.
It's
a
crazy.
Singing road.
Yeah, so what they do is they take these little scallops out of the surface. So when your car goes over it, so they just go drive at 100 k's over this section of road, and it creates a perfect vibration and sings a song.
Right, so it's like a road version of one of those little music boxes. Yeah, right.
Yeah, so every car and then because it's inside the car, it creates. Oh, I'm probably not now.
Here's one in Hungary.
Musical road.
Yeah.
So that's the road.
Yeah, this
That's
little tiny rumble strip
So bizarre.
on painted white lines. So you drive over the big, thick white lines.
You want to hear it? Go
I could hear it.
So you could do it with home again easily.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, that would be, if we were to knock that off, that'd be a crowning.
That'd be
That'd
cool.
be a crown
That'd be so
jewel
sick.
for us.
Oh, I could retire. Oh, that's right, I did.
Are you enjoying this phase of your life?
I am loving it. I am so grateful for everything that's happened to me and being able to feel what it felt like to be inside a beast of a band like that. But man, COVID came in when we were living in Melbourne, and I'd been so busy from when my son was born in 2015. Just as you do, you just go, right, I got to work now. Like I'm working because I want to make sure that there's a roof over his head, blah, blah, blah. And so I was working, and then COVID came in, stopped me working for nine months. And all of a sudden I was like hanging out with these kids that I was working so hard to provide for. It's like, man, I've been missing everything,
I've
man.
missed the point.
Yeah.
I'm missing the whole point.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I was looking through my phone. It's like, it's all just screenshots of FaceTime calls from hotel rooms. I'm missing it, man. So, bro, I think it was at that point where I just was like, man, even if it wasn't a fully formed idea in my head, it was like, I don't want to miss out, especially while they're still young enough to love me. Before they hit the teenage years,
Are
like,
they at the age? I mean, because obviously, like you're a big deal. Are they aware of the big deal that you are, or you're just the weird dad that always takes a guitar everywhere?
I don't
with
think
him?
they know anything different. I mean, that's just dad just did that job,
Yeah.
I mean, they watched us at at Spark Arena and went, wow, that was cool. But it's still just, I'm the dude that makes a chicken bacon wrap in the morning and sings silly songs.
Yeah.
And I'm still dad. And I
You're not going to do like an Anika Moore and do like a kids album,
kids
kids rock
yeah.
album, just
yeah.
a little
Bro,
educational piece.
I listened to. Honestly, it's not a bad idea. That I fucking would have done thousands and thousands of streams on those albums.
She told me that was the most money she ever made, was the first album, and it was actually the merch.
Oh, interesting.
But
I still remember,
she did
I
it
am
so-
a naughty ninja rat.
Oh, man, she did such a good job, man.
She
My
crushed
son
it.
loved that record when he was a kid, man.
Yeah.
That first Anika Moore record, brilliant.
Maybe this is your last penance to rock music, is to inspire the next generation by writing a kids rock album.
The only way I'd do it is if it was a full-on expletive, like fucking,
Like the
let's go, kids. Fucking tell the teacher to fucking. No, I wouldn't do that. No,
All we're going to play this is like, here's a sneak peek of John's new album. It's a kids album.
yeah, fucking.
So, what's exciting you at the moment? Like you mentioned being retired, you're still playing some gigs here and there,
Yeah, man.
and then what's sort of bubbling away?
Bubbling away, I'm writing. I write every day, bro. Like
Do
I
you?
pick my guitar up every day, dude. And I mean, that's how I've made sense of the world from when I was a young man. It's like music got me through being that awful teenage phase, got me through that crazy young 20 phase. It's like got me through every phase of my life, whether it's writing it or listening to it, like if it's a band or an album I fall in love with by someone else, it's like, oh man, someone's saying that truth that's is in there, but it makes you feel good to be human, like music does that for me, especially in this crazy world, bro. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, this world is mad, and it's like, so picking up my guitar, man, I love playing my guitar, and I'm constantly going, oh, I've never moved from that chord to that chord. Oh, I've done it that way, so I'm always surprising myself, and that inspires you to write some words that you go, oh, that's how I'm feeling. Oh, good. Yeah, cool. Now I understand myself a bit better.
Have you had that situation, I'm sure you've had countless times, where you're a fan of somebody and the music in which they write and the art in which they create.
Yeah.
And then coincidentally, you run into them and they're like, hey, I don't want to sound like a weirdo, but I'm a massive fan of the music that you make. Like a fan of yours that you're a fan of?
Well, I got to say, like signing a couple of She Hard CDs for Geezer Butler's nephew in Nottingham was pretty cool.
Amazing.
because it's like, oh, that's the dude that wrote the lyrics to War Pigs, the best anti-war song of all time. And he's getting me to sign a couple of CDs for his nephew in Nottingham.
That is so.
And it was like,
buzzy.
yeah, that was a buzz. Like, I mean, there are those moments. I actually find meeting people I admire really awkward. Like, I never know what to say. Like there was we were doing a press thing in Amsterdam once, and we found out PJ Harvey, and I love PJ Harvey. She was doing Press the Floor Up, and we got a chance in our downtime to go and meet her. And I said no, because I was too nervous to go and meet her. And then Tom and Carl went and hung out with her, had a cup of tea, and said, "Oh man, she's lovely. You should have come." And I was like, "Nah, man, I was too embarrassed about that." I just don't know what to say, you know. Like
You met her later, and it proved.
I met her later.
Though.
I met her later because Mick Harvey from the birthday party was in her band on a big day out, and we were on the same big day out, and he liked She Hard for some reason. He was just loved how he played live, right? So, which was a buzz for me because I loved Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds, and the birthday party were cool, you know. So, but he came up to me with tapped me on the shoulder one day and went, "Hey Johnny," and I turned around and he was standing next to PJ Harvey. He went, "It's PJ Harvey, mate," because he knew that I was too scared to meet her the first time, and I just like stammered like this little egg and went, "Oh, I love your music." It's like, and then she was just like, "Oh, that's nice." I was like, "Okay, I'm out," because I just didn't know what to say. You know, like, what do you say to someone that I know. I just find it really strange. And then other ones are like, meeting Joe Strummer, which was opposite for me because, like, Joe Strummer from The Clash, that was another thing about the big day out, which was so great. They'll put you backstage next to whoever. It was quite random. And one year, Joe Strummer was doing it. I love The Clash, right? The Clash, London Calling is probably up in my top 10 rock albums of all time. So at first I was a little bit nervous, but quickly worked out he'd be like, "Hey, this band's playing over there. Do you want to come and watch?" I'm going to go and watch a band with fucking Joe Strummer from The Clash. And then found out, oh, right, this guy is really down to earth. And he still loves music. After years and years in the music industry, I found that inspiring, and ended up, at the end of the big day out on a beach. I think we'd taken something, but I can't remember what it was. And I remember lying on a beach with Joe Strummer, and he's like pointing up the sky, just going, "How fucking lucky are we to be alive?" And I was like, this is the perfect moment.
Wow.
It was just like, yeah, dude.
You mentioned him still being inspired and loving music all those years later. That's something that I got a sense of in the book is how much you collectively and you by yourself learnt in the process of making each new album.
Yeah.
Like almost a completely different approach, almost a new skill set.
Yeah.
And I guess that was for me, not being that musical, coming to the realization that music is one of those things you can't clock. Is that daunting, or is that the dragon you chase?
Yeah, you can't. It's just a journey. The whole thing's a journey, man. And it's like the actual reward is not the song at the end. It's actually the process of being in the room when that line came out and you went, "Wow, I feel like I'm in the middle of the universe," because it's like I wouldn't want to be anywhere else anywhere, or supporting AC/DC at Western Springs in front of 62,000 people on the the Black Ice tour, being so nervous my eyeballs were literally shaking inside my sockets, and then being on stage and going, I wouldn't want to be anywhere else in the universe than right here, right now, and it's like, man, I don't know, it's all those moments, it's like they're all learnings and they're all it's not about a destination with music, I don't reckon.
And as music, and especially your journey, feels like it can serve you up the most random opportunity, or the way the musical gods work, or whatever. Like even from early on, like the fact that you got a fax from Faith No More. Like that doesn't happen unless there's music involved, right? Like
yeah, totally,
people
man.
from the other side of the globe being like, "Yo, up to with the fax," or the Geezer Butler signing a record thing. Like music gives back enormously.
Absolutely, and I've got in the middle of the book, there's a few photos there, and there's a photo of me with my really young with my Paul Young mullet holding my copy of Black Sabbath Live Evil. And then there's a page over, there's a picture of me standing in front of the sign saying Black Sabbath with support She Hard. And it's like, I think it comes from being really curious about it, man. It's like we knew really early on, it's like we want to go on this trip, And I was really lucky to find 3 other guys that went on, that wanted to go on that trip too,
Super clear direction, like the whole way along.
Yeah.
It felt like you guys had a really strong North Star.
Yeah.
And on the breakup of the band, did you battle with how much you wanted to put in and how much you didn't want to put in, and how that whole thing played out?
For me, it was more just like I was feeling guilty about not wanting to be on the road for 8 months of the year. And that's what it takes. If you make an album as good as Old Gods, right? Like Old Gods is a good record. That's a record that a 53-year-old band should not be making, really. It should be a 26-year-old band, because that's what it takes. It takes being on the road and taking that word and to every city and every corner of the planet, because that's what that music deserves. But I couldn't do that. I couldn't promise it, because I was going, man, I missed out in my first marriage on my stepdaughter a lot, and I always felt, guilty about it, but I was still young and I was driven and blah, blah, blah. But this time around, it was like, I don't want to do that, like I want to be there I want to be the assistant coach of the Grafton under-10 cricket team, which is what I am, and that's like one of the proudest fucking moments of my life, it's like those little moments are actually gold to me, like they're, and if we made another record, it would be like, yeah, well, you got to do press, you got to do this, and then you got to be on the road. And I couldn't commit to that. I just couldn't, and it's like, and because that's what it takes. And you need momentum in rock and roll, Yeah.
I know you're a rugby league fan.
Big.
State of Origin, Game 2, Eden Park. They ask you to play. Get the bang back together.
Yeah, maybe. It'd have to be a lot of money.
You've kind of already done that. Probably for a lot of money. The NRL 9s didn't you play?
Yeah, we did. We've done that, and we played. I got an all-star band together for halftime at a Vodafone Warriors game at the Cape Town in Wellington.
Yes,
where
I was there for that.
We played through all those classic rock riffs.
With
I had Aaron Tokiner from
Weda.
Fuck, it was good, man. It was.
That was the black and yellow jersey, the Warriors jersey that they played.
Oh, and
well.
they.
I'm just gonna get the. We've got a gift for you. Actually.
Awesome, man. I took my.
We got you, Steve Price.
Gold. I went to the Panthers game the other day.
Yeah,
Took my family, and Simon Mannering scored me those tickets.
He's the man,
bro. I texted Simon Mannering.
Chewy.
Oh, beautiful, bro. I love that. Only thing is, I don't have a head for hats. So
well,
I've got a Chernobyl-sized head.
As soon as you can't see my hairline, I look like a peanut. So I'll give this to my
to your
son.
kid.
I'll give it to my son.
Exactly.
But I was just saying, I got tickets to the Panthers game the other day.
Sick.
And we took the whole family, and
we went to that one as well.
Oh man, the atmosphere was insane.
Wonder.
It was amazing.
And how's the fact that they flew Scribe all the way up and he played second at halftime?
Yeah.
And it was just like 60 seconds. But it's like they're putting money back in, and that's the reason why that place is electric.
Totally, it's electric.
Yeah,
the haka was off the hook, and it just like those. Yeah, man, I was so because I'd asked Simon Mannering, because I'm still in touch with Simon, not often, but we sort of bonded around the time that She-Hub were doing lots of shows for them, and he's. It was actually for a game months ago, and he was like, "Man, I can't even get tickets for this stuff, but I can get you tickets for the Panthers game coming up in about a month and a half." I was like, "We'll probably lose that one," but yeah, okay, I won't say no. Yeah, because and then so we had a bit of a good feeling about it. We turned up with everybody else and.
We pumped them.
We smashed them.
Have you seen because you'd be Willie Mason, who's one of the great enforcers. He does a podcast called Levels, and off the back of that, he goes, "I knew as soon as those guys did the haka that they were gonna fucking smash them." He goes, "It should have been illegal. It was unfair. I love it, but fuck, there's no way."
It was so good. There was that little 10-minute window.
Where Cleary goes,
the end of the second
half. He had
half.
that look in his eye. I was like,
yeah, we had a family of Panther supporters, young kids as well, starting to rack up, and everyone around was starting to get a bit nervous, including me. And then I'd lost my voice by halftime.
Great.
I was screaming so much in the first half that I lost my voice, and my daughter was going, "What's wrong with your voice, Dad?" I was like,
It's passion.
There's nothing like the theatre of live sports.
No.
And there's nothing like live music.
There's nothing like the Warriors pumping the Panthers at home to a sold-out crowd.
so
That's what
good.
it is.
So good.
On Indigenous round with a haka.
Yeah. That was a special night, man.
every box.
Special night, man. And then Luke Metcalf getting a hamstring injury the next
Not
game.
ideal.
Man.
Yeah, we've had 6 half pairings this year, which is crazy. We're getting to wrap it up. But
Sorry.
So, what do you want to say to people that are thinking about buying the book? I 100% sure it is right up there with like the greatest rock books ever. And I learned a lot. And I've, like I said at the start of the interview, I've known you for many years and felt like I knew most things. And I found it fucking fascinating. I've just absolutely peeled through it.
Yeah, man, I'm really proud of it, how it came out. I had to do the audiobook for it the other day.
Sick.
And I was a bit nervous about it, but ended up really enjoying the ride. The way it's pieced together, it's like nice short chunks, and it'll go from being something ridiculous or hilarious to something quite serious,
Yeah.
And it just covers the whole thing. And it just showed me, oh, right, my whole life's been defined by music, man. The whole thing still is, And I just think if you like music, and especially rock, you'll probably dig it. Yeah.
Most definitely would dig it. Hey, does it come in hardcover or leather bound?
Nah, man, just a real nice glossy, whatever that is, paperback. Yeah, looks good.
I got the ring binded version.
Yeah, that's
huge.
it.
It's
You
huge,
got the
man.
manuscript
I'm gonna get you to
version.
sign that. You can go
Yeah.
sign
sign that.
fucking Foo Fighters record
I'll sign
Yeah.
that,
in
bro.
my garage.
Yeah, I'll sign that, bro.
Yeah, good man.
That's awesome.
That's wicked. Hey, we often seesaw in between being the biggest fans and then trying to play cool around you at the same time. So it's a real tightrope walk for us whenever we catch up with you. So
Man, I love that. It was a good conversation, man. I
yeah,
enjoyed
we
it.
appreciate you, man, like you wouldn't believe.
No, it's awesome. I appreciate you guys too.
Right, well done. You're an author now as well.
Yeah, bro.
It's fucking
Yeah,
look
what am
at
I going
you
to do
go.
next?
Time to start buying skivvies and drive a Saab.
They still make those things, man.
Massive thanks to Classic Builders. Obviously you've heard all the messaging if you've been listening to this podcast a while, but they do new builds here in New Zealand, right across the country, and they're bloody good at it. Been doing it for over 3 decades. So if you're thinking about it, go and have a chat to them. You're not going to have to. You don't have a chat and then they force you to fucking do a build.
Yeah.
But it's definitely worth chewing the air off because they're bloody good people.
You've been listening to Jay and Dunc's Not for Radio podcast. Thanks for listening. I hope to see you soon.